China's Ministry of National Defense announced on the 9th that, in accordance with the annual cooperation plan between the Chinese and Russian militaries, the two sides carried out their 10th joint aerial strategic patrol on the same day in airspace over the East China Sea and the Western Pacific. Meanwhile, the PLA Navy's Liaoning aircraft carrier group was conducting training near the Miyako Strait. Military experts interviewed by the Global Times said that the Sino-Russian air formation and the Liaoning carrier group might run into each other. On July 23, 2019, the air forces of China and Russia conducted their first joint aerial strategic patrol in Northeast Asia. At that time, China dispatched two H-6K bombers to form a mixed formation with two Russian Tu-95 bombers, and jointly patrolled predetermined routes in relevant airspace over the Sea of Japan and the East China Sea. Since then, the air forces of China and Russia have conducted a joint aerial strategic patrol every year. In 2022, 2023, and 2024, the two sides conducted the patrol twice each year. Video released by the PLA Air Force on the 9th shows that China dispatched H-6K strategic bombers, J-16 fighters, and other aircraft to participate in the patrol. Military expert Zhang Junj told the Global Times on the 9th that the strategic bombers used in the Sino-Russian joint patrol possess strong long-range operational capabilities. The joint aircraft formations conducted the strategic patrol in relevant sea and airspace over the East China Sea and the Western Pacific. This operation not only tested the two air forces' ability to conduct joint operations in distant oceans, but also significantly enhanced their joint combat proficiency. Japan's Nikkei reported on the 9th that, given the recent tensions in China-Japan relations following Japanese Prime Minister Sene Takaichi's remarks on a potential Taiwan emergency, the patrol was seen as possibly aiming to deter Japan. The report also noted that Wang Yamemba of the CPC Political Bureau in China, foreign minister, held strategic security consultations in Moscow with Russian Security Council Secretary Nikolai Patrushev, during which the two sides reached a high degree of consensus on issues involving Japan and agreed to firmly counter attempts to revive fascism and Japanese militarism. China and Russia, as permanent members of the UN Security Council, both bear important responsibilities in safeguarding world peace. The two air forces' joint strategic patrols contribute to maintaining regional peace and stability, Zhang Junj said. He emphasized that during the patrol, Chinese and Russian aircraft strictly followed international law and did not enter the airspace of any other country. Other countries, he said, should not make unwarranted accusations. Public reports also show that the Sino-Russian joint aerial strategic patrols have frequently taken place over the Sea of Japan, the East China Sea, and the Western Pacific. Notably, according to information released by Japan's Ministry of Defense, on December 7th, the Liaoning aircraft carrier group sailed northward along waters east of the Ryukyu Islands. Compared with the previous day, the carrier had moved approximately 600 kilometers northward. This was the first time in recent years that the Liaoning traveled north after passing through the Miyako Strait. PLA Navy spokesperson Senior Captain Wang Zuming previously confirmed that the Liaoning aircraft carrier group was carrying out normal carrier-based fighter flight training in waters east of the Miyako Strait, according to Japan's Ministry of Defense. This Liaoning carrier group included the Type 055 destroyer Nanchang, the Type 052D destroyer Shining, and the frigate Kaifeng, among others. Will the Sino-Russian joint aerial strategic patrol conducted over the East China Sea and the Western Pacific coordinate with the Liaoning carrier group? Zhang Junj said that in terms of timing, the Liaoning's Far Sea training and the Sino-Russian joint patrol were coincidental. According to publicly released information, the Sino-Russian aerial patrol was highly likely to fly over the Miyako Strait and adjacent sea and airspace areas where all nations enjoy freedom of navigation and overflight under international law. Therefore, it is possible that the Sino-Russian air formation and the Liaoning carrier group might encounter each other by chance. If required in a defensive operation, joint sea-air operations would be even more powerful. Strategic bombers of the Air Force can make use of their long-range strike capability and strong firepower to closely coordinate with carrier-based aircraft and escort ships of the aircraft carrier group. Their joint operations would form an integrated, powerful CR strike capability, conducting precise and fierce counterattacks against enemy ships, aircraft, and keelan targets effectively safeguarding national sovereignty and security, Zhang said. Public reports indicate that this was the second joint military activity conducted by the Chinese and Russian armed forces this month. On the evening of the 6th, China's Ministry of National Defense announced that in early December, the Chinese and Russian militaries held their third joint missile defense exercise in Russia. Sino-Russian strategic cooperation is deepening. It's further demonstrating the high level of the China-Russia comprehensive strategic partnership of coordination for a new era. In showcasing the two countries' shared commitment to defending world peace and upholding the post-World War II international order, Zhang added,